All right, we're back. Thank you for bearing with me during that little break there. So, now that we're back, let's talk a little bit about spooky season and the spooky things that are coming up. I know Toy Story isn't specifically spooky, but there are minor little horror elements and scary things to look at in that movie. And then there was the Halloween special, which we could talk a little bit more about some other time. But let's recap my weekend a little bit. Let's take a quick look at where is my thing here? Just a second. There we go. All right. Finally got that queued up. There we go. Here. So, first of all, I went to the Jason show on Friday morning. It was good to see Jason. There I am all the way on the end. That was great. Fun time. Then I went to Crypticon, Minnesota, and met a few different celebrities that were there from all kinds of different movies. This is Zach Ward. You may recognize him from A Christmas Story. He has yellow eyes. My hand to God, this guy's got yellow eyes. He was a very nice guy. He wasn't at all like Scud Farkus from that movie. And again, he's from Freddy vs. Jason, one of my favorite movies of all time. And next, this actor is also from Freddy vs. Jason. This is Lachlan Monroe. He's in Night at the Roxbury and what else? Dead Man on Campus and Scary Movie. And he was just a very fun, sweet guy. And here we go. Here's me as Beetlejuice, and this is Tony Cox. You may recognize Tony Cox from Bad Santa and a few other things. Tony Cox was also in some of the Leprechaun movies, and he was in Beetlejuice. He played the preacher at the end there, and I jumped over and saw him and said, "Hey, it's showtime!" And he said, "Hey, I haven't seen you since 1988." And that was pretty cool. I had him sign something from Beetlejuice. And then I also saw Phil Fondacaro. He was right next to him, and you may recognize him from like Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood, and Troll, and yes, he was in the Star Wars movies as well, and Willow and some other things. He has an iconic voice. He was also a gentleman. It was great to see him. I've always wanted to meet him as well. And here we go. Then after that, I was on kind of a quote-unquote celebrity panel for a game show that my friend was throwing there called Slash Game, kind of like Match Game. And I got to be Beetlejuice for that. And we stayed in character, and we gave off-the-wall answers, and we played for points, and it was a really fun experience to be part of that. Then I got to meet director Joe Dante. There he is. You may recognize him. Well, you might not recognize his face per se, but you'd recognize his work. He directed Gremlins 1 and 2 and The Burbs, which The Burbs is a Halloween classic in my circle. We love to watch that one every year, right around spooky season, if not right on Halloween night. And then he also directed The Howling, which is probably the most horrifying werewolf movie I have ever seen. So yay on him for doing that. Next, there's me as the Invisible Man. Just wanted to show off a few of my different costumes here. Then I was part of a panel with Mr. Samuel T. Weston. You might recognize him there. We were talking about horror and fantasy, and it was a whole panel. People asked us questions for about an hour, and we just kind of debated the landscape of horror and fantasy films and television, and yeah, it was a fun time. So thank you for that, Samuel T. Weston. Then I got to meet a few more celebrities here. This guy, sorry, his name escapes me. He is also an 80s horror icon. He was in like Return of the Living Dead and Friday the 13th Part 5. You might remember his line, enchiladas! I gotta censor it for the streaming here. He was a very fun guy as well, very, very polite, very high energy, so it was fun to meet him. And then I got to meet the Tar Man himself. Alan Troutman is his name. He played the scariest zombie I've ever seen in my life in Return of the Living Dead. You can kind of see the poster behind him there. Very sweet guy. He also worked on dinosaurs. What was it, 1991, I believe, that the show came out with the animatronic and puppet dinosaurs. So that guy, very talented. Lots of good stuff he worked on there. Then, whoa, what is this? This is the King of Halloween, the movie poster. This is going to go public tomorrow. So thank you for all those for streaming and tuning in today. You get to see this before anybody else does. This will go public, and then I have a list for when the movie is going to premiere. I'll go back to camera here. So, the King of Halloween movie special, part 1, will premiere in October 16th to be exact, 7 p.m. at the cinema, and all are welcome to come. It'll be a big public free screening. First come, first serve, though. So if you want to see this thing, you got to get there early. And we're going to be there early in costume and mingling and doing a bunch of silly things and, different shticks and things. And we'll have a little pre-show. We'll have a little Q&A afterwards. And I'm going to keep rolling out promotional materials here until that happens. It's in about a month. So October 16th, mark that on your calendar if you're interested in coming. And that is all I have for you this week. Next week, we have, what can I tease that doesn't give away what my flick of the week is? It's a superhero trilogy that will be on the big screen next week. That is what my pick of the week will be. And it's, a little more freaky than Toy Story. So we'll have some fun with that. Thank you for tuning in again here to Northern News Now Plus, and we will see you guys next Monday. Until then, stay classy. Bye.